Welcome to Talking Industrial Automation, a podcast where you get to know the people who make modern industrial automation possible. You'll get to hear from CSIA system integrators and industry partners to get a better understanding of how they help their clients solve process challenges and how they earn success in their careers. Along the way, we'll touch on system integration best practices, technology, trends, and challenges. Whether you are a manufacturer, end user, supplier, or system integrator, you will enjoy the insights CSIA members bring to this podcast. Let's get started. Hi, my name is Lisa Richter, the host of Talking Industrial Automation, a podcast where you get to know the people who make modern industrial automation and processing possible. In today's episode, we're talking industrial automation with Mike Howard, Vice President for System Integration at George T. Hall, a system integrator that has built a reputation in California and Nevada with expertise in a wide range of industrial automation, process, and thermal applications. GTH also provides custom UL control panels, field service support, and stocking inventory out of their 5 locations. Mike, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, Lisa. Thank you for having me.
Why don't you start by telling us a little bit about why you chose a career in control system integration, or did it choose you?
Yeah, I think it might have chose me, actually. Well, going back 25 years or so, I was always interested in electromechanical type systems. And I actually began my career working at a vibration monitoring company. And it wasn't, I guess it just didn't really capture my interests. It was very focused, and I was more interested in I guess, seeing what was available out there in the system integration type world. So I went to work for a small system integration company and really started at the bottom and was working in field services and worked in the panel shop. And just over the years, as my exposure to the industry grew, I took on more and more responsibility. And, here I am today.
In your current role, do you do a lot of hands-on work? I mean, you got that VP title, so I'm wondering, are you more?
I don't, and I do miss that aspect. Every once in a while, I have the opportunity to get my hands on some new software or some hardware, and it definitely piques my interest. But I can only spend so much time before duty calls and back on the business side.
Well, there's always things you could do at home too, right? Your family's going to come home and there's this giant system set up to cook ramen noodles or something.
That's true. It's good experience for my kids.
Yeah. So GTH is a CSI certified control systems integrator. When somebody asks you, why should I hire CSI certified? What do you tell them?
Well, really, it's a baseline for the client as far as having an organization that they can trust with their project in regards to not only the technical aspects, but the financial and overall just quality management of a given project. So I think it gives clients that warm fuzzy that they're engaging with an organization that is professional and has their interests first and foremost.
What would you say is the biggest benefit of CSA membership for GTH?
For us, it was, I guess, being able to define our processes. We have some processes in place that really were based on tribal knowledge, and we needed to firm those up and have SOPs and some standardized practices where we knew there were some weaknesses. The certification process helped us identify those and apply fixes. So from that, we've improved our organization, our personnel, and our quality, which all leads into greater customer satisfaction.
Kind of a follow-up to that, what specifically was it the best practices that made That's like my kids' high school, ETHS. GTH, want to become a member of CSIA?
It was the best practices. The annual event where that was really the first time I went to the event and got to experience the seminars and all of the information and the networking that really drove it home as to the benefits of being a CSIA member. And then from there, it's just grown year after year.
So is it okay to ask you when was the first year that you attended a conference, or is that kind of like asking somebody's age and it's just kind of tentative?
Oh, no, that's okay. I think, I want to say it was 2011.
Oh, that's not that long ago. No, it's good. Well, I did it. I attended my first CSIA executive conference. And do you know what the best part about it was? It was meeting and hearing from CSIA members like Mary Riedel, Principal Business Development for Martin CSI, a system integrator out of Columbus, Ohio. It was so interesting hearing about how the association impacts real lives. Take a listen.
Membership has made my job easier. I think just, again, the knowledge gained and then the best practices help us formulate policies, procedures that have helped improve our business to make it better, more efficient. Give it a try. Come to one of the conferences or, talk to other integrators that are members to see, the benefits they've been getting out of it.
Want to learn more about how you can become a CSIA member or how to get more out of your membership benefits? Visit www.controlsys.org. How would you say that GTH has grown or changed in the past year? And what do you expect for your company in the next 12 to 14, 18 months?
Sure. Well, in the last year or two, we've had some opportunities in of all things, the correctional facility industry. And believe it or not, they've been quite large projects and have resulted in considerable growth that has been difficult to manage, but it has also forced us to take a second look at some of our processes and make some internal improvements to handle the additional workload. So it's been quite good for us. The next 12 to 24 months, I think it'll be a little bit lighter load, which we could benefit from, I believe, by going back and further evaluating some of our QA processes and making some improvements to our internal systems, so to speak.
Okay, so I'm going to give you a pop quiz here and say, in terms of the ability to scale up and scale down, do you have any lessons learned from that after you've gone through this kind of growth spurt? What would you do differently, or what advice would you give somebody who's maybe just now facing that challenge?
Oh, gosh. I think that, lesson learned when it comes to that. I guess the trusting our processes as far as hiring new employees and efficiently going through the screening and hiring process was important to get up, off the ground quickly and getting these new employees up to speed. And I think sometimes we were looking for people that had more experience than was really necessary had we just trusted in our processes and brought people on that had the emotional intelligence and just the baseline capability to learn what we do. Probably be able to bring people on a little quicker.
Yeah. It goes back to that old saying, perfection is the enemy of done, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. We fall into that trap far too often.
Yeah, I hear that. So speaking of challenges, what are some of the challenges your customers are facing right now?
Well, I believe that there's definitely a technology gap there. We're exposed to IoT, all the latest and greatest from Microsoft and from suppliers, whether it's Rockwell or Schneider or Aviva. And so we're constantly interacting with those people, where our clients don't have those opportunities as often. They have production, they have other businesses to keep going. So I see it as a challenge for us to impress upon them the values of bringing on new technology that will give them access to usage of their data. That's been for us in our client base. That's definitely been a challenge.
You're kind of part technical expertise, part therapist, part, educator.
Absolutely. We do need to be educators, and that has its challenges.
Yeah. So why don't you take the minute to just kind of share the history of how GTH began and how the company has evolved in the automation industry?
I'd be happy to. We're as far as system integrators go, we're an old company. Obviously, in 1932, when the company was started, there was no such thing that I'm aware of. The electronics were far and few between. But really, it started with, they were selling airstream trailers and the parts and pieces that go into maintaining those. And after a few years, they determined, the parts business is much more lucrative. And then the heating systems in those became a focus. And then as they gained that experience, they started getting involved with boilers. And with that came a relationship with Honeywell, and they kind of ventured into HVAC and then burner systems for furnaces. And so in the early years, that was really their focus, became boiler controls, combustion controls. And then as the industry grew and the products and expertise started catching up, we started focusing more on the industrial and not so much the HVAC and the boilers. So then the focus on industrial brought them into aerospace, people that are doing heat treat, food industry, the air quality monitoring. I don't remember what they're called, AQMD in California, put forth some pretty stringent guidelines that required reduction in emissions. So that's a big push for us, and we have a lot of expertise in that industry. They acquired the system integrator I was working for here in Nevada in 2007, and our experience was primarily water, wastewater, and mining. So now we're pretty well-rounded in the industry of thermal and combustion controls, as well as water, wastewater, and mining. Then some spillover into manufacturing as well. We've got a lot of experience in those industries and cover, like I said, pretty much all of California and Nevada.
Any plans to expand even further east from there? I mean, are you guys pretty committed to those regions?
We are committed to the regions. We always feel like we could do more where we already exist. So California being a big state, we have some thoughts of moving further into Northern California and southern areas of California into Arizona. So that's kind of the extent of our reach at the moment.
What would you say the smartest decision your company has made recently?
Well, to toot CSIA's own horn, I think it was the CSIA certification audit. Going through that process really helped drive home some of the areas that we were weak, that we knew we had to make some adjustments. I guess we almost needed somebody to tell us, these are areas where your business needs improvements. And it allowed us to take a step back and say, okay, how much resources do we need to dedicate to this, and how much money do we need to budget for these improvements? And it really pushed us to make these changes.
Or are there certain, I don't know if you're going to be willing to share this or not, but, are there certain buckets that, you felt particularly you needed to, like, you're probably really super good in the technical aspects and, all that. But there are other areas where you're like, this is where we could really use some help. And if you're willing to share those areas.
Yeah, certainly change management, anything regarding documentation, revision controls, software revision controls. We're relying a lot on tribal knowledge of how we handled certain scenarios. By implementing a project management software application, we took control of some of that. Instead of giving everyone kind of free will to manage information as they felt it was best, we put some more stringent rules in place.
Yeah. I mean, that just strengthens the company. All you have to do is suffer one person like walking away or deciding to quit or retiring, and now you've got this giant gaping hole in
absolutely
institutional knowledge. Yeah, it totally makes sense.
Yeah.
So looking back on your younger self, what's the best advice you could give him kind of just getting started?
For me, looking back, I think really finding someone to mentor you would be of great benefit. I had the opportunity to work with some very smart people, and I learned a lot from them. But I think that had I had kind of a long-term roadmap, something that I could follow from year to year, that with some goals to achieve in the industry, and somebody to help me along the way, I think that would have gone a long ways. But a lot of that is my own curiosity and wanting to learn things on my own. And I think had I taken a step back and asked for more help in the industry when I was younger, I probably would have excelled a little quicker.
So I'm going to be kind of mean to you and say, given that, have you taken it upon yourself to mentor younger people?
I have. And I try to be patient and share my experiences and knowledge. Not everybody wants to hear it.
Really? You don't say.
So looking back, that was probably me as well.
Yeah.
But those that want to engage in those conversations and learn and grow in the industry, I am more than willing to help. And I don't know everything. I still learn day by day. It's an amazing industry that has unlimited opportunities, and it's exciting, and it's the younger generation and people that are really enthusiastic about it and ask questions and want to get involved and take responsibility. That's great. I love to try to mentor those people.
I think millennials kind of give a bad rap. My daughter's just on the cusp of it, but I see her and her friends and some of the younger people I work with. I think they're amazing. I think they have so much to offer, and they're still so fresh and idealistic, and it's a joy. It's a joy to see.
No, absolutely, it is. And I think there is a bit of a barrier there too when you're talking to somebody who's 24 years old and I'm 50. I'm not as approachable as their peers, right?
Yeah.
So we're on different different points in our lives. So we definitely, I feel like I have to put in a little extra effort to connect with those people.
Yeah,
and that's part of my job. Is to make sure they're engaged and getting what they need out of their position here, and understand what their long-term goals are.
It can be kind of rewarding, I think.
Very much so. I agree.
So getting back to business here, does your company specialize in any industry, product, discipline? And if so, why or why not?
Yeah, wastewater is definitely an industry that we focus on. In Northern Nevada, where I'm located, there is some industry, but the municipal and infrastructure type projects are probably the largest opportunities. So we pursue those both in Northern and Southern Nevada. We know the processes. We know what goes into those projects. We're familiar with the specifications and the plans and the P&IDs and all the work that goes into that. That's definitely a focus for us. And it has become more so in Southern California now that we have that that synergy between the two locations. We can share resources and share our knowledge of the industry. And obviously water is a big deal in Southern California. So we feel that's a definite growth opportunity for us.
Yeah. I think you mentioned too, when we first started talking, that, California has some of the stricter emissions rules.
Yes.
And so I'm sure you have to be experienced in that and understand that.
Certainly.
Going into it.
And that's the other area of focus for us is thermal systems and anything to do with heat, whether it's natural gas or electric furnaces or combustion flares, you name it. That's continues to be a focus of ours throughout California. So we're good at it.
Yeah. Awesome. So is GTH certified or endorsed with any companies you'd like to mention?
Yeah, absolutely. Aviva, Wonderware, we are certified system platform integrators, so we have that experience. Schneider Electric, we're a certified automation partner with them. Phoenix Contact, we're also an integrator partner. Honeywell, those are probably the four key partners that we work with the most. And they've been very supportive of our organization and our people. So they're our primary partners. Rockwell's another one as well.
Rockwell's a big
because
one.
You have to. Because
yeah, exactly. Rockwell's a big one. Okay, so let's close it out here by telling people where they can go to find out more about you and your company.
Oh, absolutely. Our website is georgethull.com, and it's actually being revamped right now. So what you see now versus a couple months from now will be entirely different, but that's where you'll find all the latest information on our organization. We are also on LinkedIn, myself and my organization, and Twitter.
Well, that's it for today's episode of Talking Industrial Automation. Thanks for listening, and thank you, Mike, for joining me today.
Thank you, Lisa. It's been a pleasure.
If you enjoy this podcast, please subscribe in iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or wherever you listen to podcasts. You can also help others find us by sharing your favorite episodes with colleagues. Thanks for listening to the Talking Industrial Automation podcast. Thanks also to Bensound.com for the music bumpers. Until next time.